Welcome to Pause and Play. I'm Jessica. This is your pocket companion, a place to pause, to play, and to find your way back home to yourself. You don't have to do anything, just be here. Guidepost 11. All learning is learning. Embracing mistakes, messiness, and nonlinear growth. Every experience holds a lesson, even if it doesn't look like success. There's no such thing as wasted effort. If you're paying attention, you're learning. Place your hands gently on your lap, palms open. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. As you inhale, imagine curiosity filling your body. As you exhale, release the pressure to be right. Whisper to yourself, I am always learning. Repeat this softly. Let it land in your body as truth. All learning is learning. There are no wrong turns, just unexpected lessons. You don't need perfect conditions to grow. You don't need a gold star to make it count. Learning happens in the reflection, in the trying again, in the showing up. We've been taught to value outcomes, the test score, the degree, the flawless performance. But real learning doesn't always come with a certificate. It comes with lived experience. This guidepost invites you to stop measuring progress by perfection, to notice the wisdom in the messy, the nonlinear, the hard won, to trust that you're learning even when it doesn't look the way you expected. When I first began homeschooling my children, I was filled with both excitement and fear. I wanted to create a learning environment that was joyful, curiosity-driven, and deeply aligned with who they were as individuals. But as the weeks turned into months, doubt crept in. Were we doing enough? Were they learning the right way? Was I failing them? One morning, after a particularly rough math lesson, I gave up on the plan. We put the books away and went outside. The kids ran through the park collecting leaves, building forts, spinning stories about magical creatures in the trees. Their faces lit up with wonder, their laughter echoed, and I realized they were learning. Problem solving, storytelling, collaborating, imagining. No workbook could have taught that. That day cracked something open in me. A realization that learning doesn't always look neat or measurable. It doesn't always happen at a desk. Some of the most meaningful learning happens in motion, in the mess, in the mud, in the in-between. After becoming a single parent, those expectations softened even more. Our life was full of interruptions and unpredictability, but woven through it all was learning. Real, resilient, relational learning. Learning happens within us, all around. One summer afternoon, we were at the laundromat. The washing machine at home had broken, and the kids were restless. I handed them some coins to play with. They sorted, counted, flipped them in the air, guessing which would land heads up. Unplanned, unschooled. And yet, there it was. Math, patience, observation, joy. Later that week, we found a forgotten garden patch in the park, overgrown and wild. The kids knelt down, touching leaves and whispering questions I didn't know how to answer. So we wondered together. We looked things up. We followed their curiosity. I used to think learning had to be polished and productive. Now I know it's everywhere. It's in the art that doesn't look like anything, the dance made up on the spot, the burnt dinner turned into breakfast for dinner. It's in the questions we ask, the setbacks we navigate, the stories we tell. And it's not just for children. This realization freed me. I stopped trying to prove I already know and started embracing the sacred work of becoming. I gave myself permission to explore, to make mistakes, to play. Now I see myself not as someone who has to arrive, but someone who just has to show up. Someone always becoming. All learning is learning. The joyful kind, the messy kind, the painful kind. It all matters. Science meets soul. Our brains are wired to learn through trial and error. Making mistakes activates neural plasticity, the brain's ability to grow and change. Every time we reflect and try again, we strengthen new pathways. But when we experience shame around mistakes, our nervous system shifts into self-protection. That's why kindness and curiosity are essential to real learning. When we feel safe, we're more open to growth. When we feel judged, we shut down. When we stop defining learning by external validation, we reclaim our power. We begin to value process over performance, experience over ego. This mindset allows us to grow more freely, try more bravely, and fail more gracefully. It creates space for creativity, experimentation, and joy. Your journey is not a test. It's a classroom. And you're doing beautifully. Try this. Daily practices. Name one thing you learned today, even if it wasn't what you intended. Start a learning journal to capture insights from daily life. Reflect on a time something didn't work and what it taught you. Try something new just for the sake of curiosity. Say out loud, "This didn't go as planned, and I learned from it." Celebrate small experiments, even if they fail. Ask, "What did this teach me about myself?" Write about a moment of growth that no one else saw. Share a recent lesson learned with a friend. Choose progress over perfection in one area today. Pause prompts. Where do I judge my learning as not enough? What am I learning right now that can be measured? How do I define success? And is it helping or harming me? What mistakes have actually helped me grow? What am I afraid to try because I might fail? How do I speak to myself when I'm struggling to learn? What kind of learner am I? And what supports me best? What do I want to remember when things don't go as planned? When have I grown the most, and what made it possible? What would change if I honored every experience as part of my learning journey? Sometimes the pause is where the real learning happens. It's where we digest, reflect, and make meaning. When you stop and ask, "What am I learning here?" you shift from judgment to curiosity. You become your own teacher. Let your pause be a place of grace, not pressure. You're learning more than you know. Play prompts. Create a comic about a silly failure that taught you something. Make a collage titled "The School of Life." Dance to a song that reminds you how far you've come. Draw a certificate for something you've learned outside of school. Invent a new subject you're learning right now and design a class around it. Create a board game about learning through trial and error. Decorate a folder or journal for lessons from the journey. Build a learning altar with symbols of past growth. Paint a visual timeline of how your perspective has changed. Write a short play about someone who learns from everything. Play opens us to learning without fear. It helps us take risks, explore new roles, and find meaning in mistakes. When we play, we stop performing, we start practicing. We engage with life as a student, not as a judge. Let your learning be the light. Let it be fun. Let it be real. Integration practices. Review your week and write 3 things you learned from lived experience. Use kind language when you talk about what you're bad at. Celebrate effort, especially when it feels unseen. Keep a visible list of things I'm figuring out. Share a learning moment with a child or friend. Add the word yet to your inner dialogue. I don't know how yet. Turn a current challenge into a personal case study. Reflect at night. What surprised me today? Keep a mistake log and note the gold inside of each one. Write a letter to your future self about what you're learning now. Growth doesn't only happen in the aha moments. It happens in the dailiness, the trying, the showing up. Integration means honoring learning in every form: messy, slow, non-linear, sacred. It means trusting that no experience is wasted. Everything teaches, especially the unexpected. Art therapy prompts. Illustrate your learning journey as a winding path. Paint or collage an invisible skill you're developing. Make a mistake masterpiece. Turn an error into art, a beautiful oops. Create a badge for trying something new. Draw 2 versions of yourself, then and now. Use texture to reflect the feeling of learning something challenging. Make a learning zine about what school never taught you. Create a pop-up card that says, I'm learning and that matters. Design a visual mantra. All learning is learning. Paint over a piece of old art to show growth and change. Personal exploration. Journal prompt. What kind of learner am I becoming? Doodle prompt. Draw a learning ladder with each step labeled. Collage prompt. Find images of growth, curiosity, and resilience, and arrange them into your own learning portrait. All learning is learning. Nothing is wasted. I'm growing through it all. This affirmation brings compassion into your process. It removes shame from struggle and invites reverence for the real work of growth. You are not behind. You are becoming. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to stay open. Learning is not a straight line, it's a spiral. It loops, it dips, it returns, but always, always, it moves you forward. You're doing better than you think. Community invitation. Share a moment when you learned something from an unexpected place. A failure, a detour, a question, a child. Let's celebrate learning in all its wild, wondrous forms. Before you go, I want to recognize what you just did. You showed up. You stayed. You allowed yourself to see your life through a kinder lens. Today you practice releasing the idea that anything was wasted. And in doing that, you reclaimed your story. You love yourself across time. And every time you do that, your nervous system learns that your past is not something to escape. It's something you survived. You're leaving this episode different than when you arrived, because now there's a part of you that trusts your path. And I want you to know, I see you. Carry this with you. Nothing was wasted. I'll meet you again here soon. Pause and play.